Welcome back to Today on Bay TV. I'm Gaynor Morgan. With me are media consultant Robert Lloyd and Swansea solicitor Peter Lynn. Thanks, guys. Now, Robert, you're in the middle of a huge, big project that's going to make such a difference to Llanelli.
Yeah, this is wearing one of my other hats now.
You've got so many hats.
I'm the project officer for what they call the Llanelli Railway Goodshed Trust. And in Llanelli, we've got a derelict old building built in 1875, which is near the railway station. And we've developed a project really it's the biggest independent project of its kind in West Wales, because it's not actually directly linked to support from County Council and so on. It's an independent trust that have set this up. And the aim is to create a multi-purpose hub with everything from a heritage centre to a cafe, places for start-up businesses, an auditorium for events, exhibition spaces, outside spaces we can use for different events, a place for social enterprises, for training and skill courses and so on. So we've got a whole heap of activity. A real community hub. A real community hub, and this is in an area of Llanelli which actually deserves this support.
And you might mind me saying this, but it's a little bit run down and not a good welcome when you step off the train.
No, it's not, but this is part of that experience, I think, that we've got the Llanelli Health and Wellness village, which is being built in Llanelli near the railway station, and this project as well. So bit by bit, that area will be transformed as a gateway into Llanelli, and it's within walking distance of the town centre as well. But it has great communication links. We'll have a great car park there as well, which people will appreciate. I just cue in a couple of photos of the shed as it was, and you can probably see on this one. This is as it was when it was operating, and it operated up until the 1960s. This is the main office block in front of us, Great Western Railway Goods Station, and behind that is a shed about 55 metres long, and inside you can see what it's used for. Trucks to come in on the left-hand side, and they'd offload their goods, and they'd go out through doors to lorries on the other side. And then we can actually see, I think, some outside views. The place is derelict at the moment. It's a Grade 2 listed building, so it needs to be saved and repurposed, really. So that's what we're trying to do. So this is the outside of the building, and that's the inside, which is this huge cavernous hall which you're seeking to
Quite a bit of work to be done.
There's a heck of a lot of work to be done. But the structure of it is fine, you see, because it was built in the Brunel style, and anything built by his Mud Kingdom Brunel has great redundancy, and structurally it's very, very solid. But it's things like roofs and windows and stuff like that. And this is the aerial view, which shows you next to the main train track leading back down to Fishguard. So that's how derelict it looks today. And it's a huge piece of work that we're seeking to achieve. Inside, the beams are structurally all okay, the walls are okay, but it does give us the opportunity to put lots of things into
What sort of money are we talking about?
It's currently £2.2 million. Now, you can see how we're sort of dividing the spaces up into a flexible auditorium space, a cafe area. There's a canopy area as well, which is seeking to develop on another day. And then there's a basement area as well. Now, what we've already had is development funding to do this, about £120,000 development funding. And we've basically spent that already.
Where did it come from?
Now, that actually came from Big Lottery Fund, from Heritage Lottery Fund, Carmarthenshire County Council, and so on. Now, we've actually spent that money. We've got the planning permission in place. So at the next phase now, we're looking for the capital funding for the project. So we're very grateful, obviously, to the people that support us so far, Heritage Lottery Fund Wales and Big Lottery Wales. But now we're at the stage of looking for bigger capital grant funding. And the projections of what the thing will look like. We're developing this Our Town theme. Llanelli has a great industrial and railway heritage, so we seek to develop that as a reason people to come and look back on the heritage of the site. But it's a case of looking back and looking forward. We want people to come in, learn about Llanelli's heritage, but also we're going to develop training and skills courses to help the new generation of Llanelli.
It all looks wonderful. Well, what's the timescale on it?
Timescale on it at the moment, if we get all the grant funding in place, we would be in a position to start work in at the end of 2018, and then it's probably about 2 years in the construction there. Now, these are just visuals that we've drawn up, just showing what potentially it could look like. And we're actually taking advantage of, there are huge walls, we could project images of days gone by in Llanelli, steam trains. We can create a lot of stuff audio-visually, and the idea is basically to say, well, okay, let's look at a little bit of history of our town, preserve this building, but also repurpose it into something new, vibrant for the town, a new community hub, which in turn will regenerate that area. And of course, we're looking for new funding. We're going to be knocking the doors of business people like yourselves and saying, well, let's, can you please get involved in the project? We need both cash support and support in terms of volunteers. And, we're looking for everybody really to express an interest in it.
Peter, I think there's no question these initiatives are so important, but how seriously does business take them?
Very important, because we want to see our central districts regenerated. There's been a donut effect in most of the towns. Certainly, I'm involved with Swansea bid in Swansea to regenerate city centre there. I'm involved with projects in Port Talbot. I'd love to see projects in Llanelli and be involved with them. I know clients of mine as well. We obviously give legal and logistical support and some financial support where we can for projects, but we can also encourage other stakeholders to get involved.
Robert wears his responsibilities lightly, but it's a big thing to carry out a project.
It is, but those are manageable budgets, to be fair. I think that's they are manageable budgets. I've seen much higher figures quoted for other specialist hub projects. Yeah. So I think he's done very well to keep those costs there and have a manageable budget.
Yeah, and in doing so, in working on what's going to happen in the building in the future, obviously we're doing a lot of consultation with the local community. We've had consultation events, open days and so on. And we've also been talking to people who actually worked in the shed. And I think we've got a video clip. I talked to a chap called David Williams who started there as an apprentice. And here's, I think, what he had to say about working at the Good Shed.
Shall we hear from him now?
I think you said this was called siding number 2?
It would have been siding, because number 4 was out there, and there was a little block end siding on the end of the shed, which would have been 3. So that the one outside would have been 1, this would have been 2, but it's always called it a shed road.
So your job here was as a messenger originally?
I started as a messenger.
Age?
15. When I was 16, when the boys finished, I came out here then as a number taker, and then another one of the boys. There was 4, as we were called lad porters, under 18, and there was a boy who was a vanguard, which was on the lorries, on one of the articulated lorries. It was like a driver's assistant sort of thing. And when he finished, then I decided I'd go out there, and then the next boy came out the office into here, then, and that's the way it worked. And
right. What would the atmosphere have been like in here in this heyday?
Fantastic, because there were so many stunts being pulled, and you never knew. There was a load of practical jokers. Like there was a fella here, Gilbert, and he was very tall, very sallow looking, looked like a walking corpse. And people used to compare him to Lurch off a TV series. So we had a loading of coffins for the co-op undertakers. And it was up around here somewhere. And they got Gilbert now to lie in one of the coffins and put the lid back on him. And they shouted down for the foreman, and they said, Aidan, come up here, one of these coffins is heavier than the rest. So he came up and he tried to lift it, and it's strange. So he pushed the lid away, and there was Gilbert like that lying, looking up at him. But he screamed, and he didn't stop running till he was down the end of the sidings down there. But it was tricks like that, you never knew what they were going to do.
Yeah.
How do you follow that?
Well, yeah, it's difficult. I mean, but those are sort of all the memories that we're trying to get hold of now. We're sort of building up an archive of, as we're talking to Peter in the interval now, about a videotape, sounds, recollections of people working there and all that. And I think those are really great things. We can sort of show people what the heritage of Llanelli was like. But we're also working with local schools as well. So again, the schools involved very, very important.
You'd think he was enthusiastic, yeah. Peter, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah. Good luck with the project. It's fantastic, and I expect a phone call soon.
Yes.
We'll come knocking on the door for money, don't worry.
It's what Llanelli needs. But how many of you are involved in the project?
Well, there's currently 9 trustees, myself as a project officer, but of course we've got a whole heap of volunteers who are now starting to come on board with us, because as we accelerate the project, we're going to need more and more volunteers to help us out.
Well, certainly Llanelli deserves it, and well done you for driving it forward, because it's a very important project.
No, and fingers crossed it'll be good for Llanelli. I think there's
Look forward to hearing more about it. I'm sure we will. So, thank you both. Now, after the break, a change of tack. We'll be talking about the Swansea Panto.
Hello, well, welcome to Pantoland. Here I am at Swansea Grand Theatre with the launch of this year's production of Aladdin. Now, I'm quite well equipped to talk about pantomime at Swansea Grand Theatre. I've seen everyone since 1964, yes, and I'm only 26. Work it out.
The irrepressible.
That was a lovely little piece.
Well, I was caught up in the
didn't see you do that.
I was caught up
The
with it all.
irrepressible Keith Milward and Kev Johns.
He's taught me everything I know.
Of course, you were at the launch of Twanky Grand
exciting day,
Pantomime, and
exciting
you rather
day.
got carried away.
Well, yes, I suppose it's because I do go back to 1964. I saw the panto every year since I was a boy. I haven't missed one. Oh. And I particularly remember the ones with Kev. And
Yes, you're not going to pretend you've been in everyone.
No, I haven't.
so I can't. Nobody believes I'm 26, but in my mind I am. You know.
Can you remember the first one back?
I can, yes.
What was
yes.
it?
Well, it was Aladdin. Yes.
Who was in that?
And it was Vince Eager, and yes, and there was so much colour, so much magic. Yeah. And I remember an early one was Wayne Fontana as well. And I remember him singing Pamela, Pamela. How that fit into the pantomime, I don't know, but he did sing Pamela, Pamela.
Did you see Jess Conrad?
Yes, of course. Puss in Boots. Yes, they're all there.
There's on the corridor backstage where the dressing rooms are, on all floors, there are all old posters of grand shows, and including all the pantomimes.
Yes.
And I used to play football with Jess, and he had no idea of Welsh geography. He would ring you up on a Friday and say, "Kevin dear," he said, "we've got a game in Wales on Sunday, will you play?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." He said, "We're playing in Colwyn Bay." He said, "I can pick you up on the M5. I said, "Why would I go to Colwyn Bay to play football?" You know? But a great performer,
yes.
lovely guy.
Of course,
Well,
there were the Ryan pantomimes back in
yes,
the
I remember,
60s,
yes.
and they were very special, you know. But the Grand Theatre has got this tradition of pantomime, unlike many other theatres. You know, it's the highlight of the year for Swansea Grand, and it's a time where everyone goes to the pantomime. You know, with the mums and dads, the grannies and grandpas, and all the children all together.
Because the revenue that they were making panto, not just from the ticket sales, but for the little merchandise they sell, and the drinks and the sweets and the crisps and etc., that helps fund a lot of the lesser popular shows that a theatre needs to have. You need to put on dance, you need to put on opera, although the opera's very popular, but you need to put on, you know, shows which are not as strong in generating income as something like panto. So the panto is a massive part of the theatre.
What's good is that it encourages people to go to other forms of theatre then, that they might not have tried, you know.
How long have you been doing panto at the Grand?
I've been in pantomime for 25 years. This will be my 20th at the Grand, 19th in succession. But
Clearly enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. You know,
I think that's big congratulations.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Think about it, 25 years in professional panto, 20 at the Grand Theatre. Wow.
Take some doing.
I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate to be at home as well for panto season every year, and I love it. You know, Christmas Day, I'm zonked.
I'm not at all surprised.
Christmas but it's been part of my Christmas, I say, since 1992. So 25 years.
What's special about this year then, Kev?
I love the story Aladdin. It's a great pantomime, and the script we had yesterday, and I read it last night. It's very, very, very funny. I'm working with Matt Edwards. Matt is a genius when it comes to panto. He's born a panto comic, and Stefan Pejic's a lovely lad, local talented lad. And Tony Maudsley, who does the show Benidorm, which I keep calling Ibiza. I don't know why, but he is such a strong musical theatre performer. He's a great presence on stage, you know.
Shall we see for ourselves?
Tony, I love his costume. You love his costume.
Here we go. Tony, welcome to Swansea.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Welcome to the world of pantomime again.
And my second outing in a panto.
And this time you're quite different to your previous experience.
Yeah, well, last year I played Dame Trot in Nottingham with the Chuckle Brothers. I had 14 costume changes. This year I'm playing the Slave of the Ring, obviously, and I've got 3 costume changes, so I'm like, yes, I'm going to have a really nice time, I think. What makes pantomime special for me? Well, as you know, I'm in a long-running TV show called Benidorm, which is great, and we get so much great comedy to do. but we never get to hear the laughter loud. We never know if our comedy works until it goes out on TV. So for me, the best thing about panto is that immediate reaction to what you're doing on stage, that warmth that you feel from an audience and the excitement from the kids, and it's just magical, isn't it? Do you know what? I'm probably the only person who's not going to be warm because I'm pretty certain they're going to put me in hot pants. Now, when I'm in Benidorm and it's 40 degrees, hot pants are fine, but how cold is Swansea at Christmas?
And you think you enjoyed it.
It's great. But you wait till you see Kev's outfit. Oh my gosh. We're doing Twanky, your alter ego, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's one of my favourite panto characters.
Oh, yeah.
She works hard, you know, she works hard.
Oh my gosh, yes, doing all the washing.
Shall we take a look? See if she really does.
So Kev Johns, or should I say, Widow Twanky, you are looking absolutely radiant.
Thank you, dear.
What's the secret of your beauty?
Widow Twanky is a jack, that's the secret. Fresh air, lots of cockles, lava bread, fresh walks, breathing in the mumbles air, you know, or the sign in air. Lacha boy.
And special celebrations this year, not only 25 years in pantomime, but 20th pantomime in Grand Theatre Swansea.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, you really just want to work, don't you? But my first panto was in 1992 at the Grand Pavilion in Porthcawl. It was Aladdin, and my first panto here was in 97, 96, and I went away for a couple of years somewhere else, and I've been here since 1999, and Aladdin was that panto as well. That started off.
It's come up well, Kev.
I know. I'm not going to wear his outfit, I can tell you that.
Absolutely great, you know. So, but they're a great gang, and they at the
it's a lovely crowd. Panto's a lovely experience, particularly at the Grand, because everybody gets involved. The minute the audience comes through the door, the front of house staff, you'll know that they're very busy in welcoming everybody. They put on costumes, and the minute the Panto experience starts, the minute people walk through the door, it's not just about what happens on stage. There's a whole army of people there, you know, backstage, upstairs in the offices, the band in the pit, the front of house staff, the lighting, sound, that make it the experience that it is.
What is it about panto, though, that's so magical for all of us?
Because we all have memories of pantomime, and it's one of the theatre experiences that everybody can go and enjoy, you know, because children can go with their parents, with their grandparents, and you often see families of 4 generations come into the panto together, and they have a date that they go on. They go on Boxing Day every year, they go on Christmas Eve every year, they go on New Year's Eve every year, and they repeat that over and over again. They want to tell you about that, and it's the show. Some of the gags might go over the kids' heads, you know, but so there's something in it for the mums and the dads and the grandparents. There's pretty dancing girls in there for the dads, and there's lots of slapstick and comedy for the youngsters. There's nothing offensive or nothing cheeky, no, too cheeky in it. It's just a lovely, lovely family experience, and everybody can enjoy whatever generation you're part of.
Yes, has it changed at all over the years?
Well, I suppose it has, but panto, you know, many people thought it was the end of pantomime when pop stars started going into the pantomime. Yeah. And they said no, but it evolves. It does evolve, and it changes with the times, because you often will portray a character there. Yeah. Who can forget your Adele?
And pop stars always did appear in panto. Cliff Richard as a pop star, yes. Marty Wilde as a pop star. The Beatles, you know, all these guys, they all had panto experience. Helen Shapiro was in panto. You know, the youngest chart topper at the age of 13. As she got a bit older, she got into pantomime. So in the 60s, pop stars in panto was the norm. Pop stars in summer variety shows was the norm, as you know. Yes. So it's just history repeated itself, really.
But I love all the extravaganza as well as the fun. But you often have a very magical moment, like there's a magic carpet in this pantomime coming up now, which actually goes into the audience. Well, that's for a child, but for us all, it's so wonderful, isn't it? You know.
And panto's back in the Palladium in London now. I remember on our honeymoon we went to see Cinderella, Rosie and I, at the Palladium, you know, and then there was only one more after that, and the Palladium stopped doing pantomime, and last year the London Palladium started doing panto again for the first time in years.
Technology changes everything, doesn't it?
It does.
It's very popular. Thank you both. Well, there's a lot to look forward to with the pantomime, so I'll have to brace myself. And thank you to both of you, and thank you to all our guests today for joining us, and thank you at home. Where would we be without you? And of course online. See you again tomorrow.